politics is fundamentally a matter of tradition. It's matters of traditional behaviour. In the same way, I would argue, again, I listened to Liz Truss going on about, isn't it dreadful that Putin defies universal human rights? No conservative can believe in universal human rights. They're a preposterous notion. Would somebody tell me when they began? Were the universal human rights in the 18th century? We pressed people to death for refusing to plead guilty or not guilty. Right? Universal human rights in the 19th century? Come on, we only give Catholics a proper vote in 1830. Right? The notion of universal human rights is a purely liberal myth. And as conservatives, we should stop having anything to do with myths. We should be the party of reality. Similarly, the whole doctrine of human equality is a preposterous doctrine. There has never been a sillier statement ever uttered than the opening words of the Declaration of Independence. These truths are not self-evident. Men and even women are not born free and equal. A human being is born, as St. Augustine, so I can use St. Augustine to protect me from the obscenity that I'm about to utter, is born midst piss and shit. That is how the Latin of the city of God is to be translated. He, she is an absolutely dependent creature for months, if not years. In other words, we don't choose to be born here. Everything about us is accidental. It's not this liberal notion that we choose. We don't. Our culture is a product of inheritance and place. I mean, the whole catastrophe of trying to plant democracy in Afghanistan, has there ever been a more stupid war? We've heard of the War of Jenkins' Ear, but the war of David Cameron's miniskirt, in which you try to enforce, the ability of women to wear miniskirts in a tribal Islamic culture, is genuinely deranged, isn't it? I mean, think about it. I mean, would anybody disagree? I mean, it is absurd to think that people from an utterly different culture can suddenly absorb. It took us about 1,000 years to learn to do parliamentary democracy, right? How can you assume it can simply be parachuted in like a food parcel? It's an absurdity. It's an absurdity. Again, conservatives should be quite clear about what they believe and what they don't believe. Fundamentally, liberals believe that all human beings are basically the same or ought to be. As a conservative, they are different. And conservatism is therefore a doctrine that enables the accommodation to human reality. The whole of woke is a denial of human reality. And with the key, the most obvious example of it being the belief in the possibility of transsexuality. As I point out to people, and I hope I don't offend any Roman Catholic here too much, the belief that you can transgender is a bit like the belief in transubstantiation, that by uttering a word, you can actually change the elements of bread and wine into flesh and blood, or that you can alter a word saying, I want to be taken as a woman, and you become a woman. This is medieval. It's a belief in magic. As a conservative, we shouldn't believe in magic. We really shouldn't. I'm sorry, I hope this is all moderately painful. Good.